Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. We're going to do a video ranking the Fear Footage Trilogy. Of course, I just mentioned in my Fear Footage 3 review, which is way too long. Why did I make that video so long? I'm trying not to have issues and worries about how long my videos are. I kind of just want to take my time, have fun, discuss them. People are going to be here not to hear about the same old movies over and over and over again. Something like this is a little bit different, but hopefully they're here for personality. I don't know if you like mine. I'm just saying, any YouTube channel out there, you're usually following not so much for the content, maybe a little bit of that, but for the persona behind the content. A lot of the time. I'm not saying always, but a lot of the time. Anyway, I hope that's the case here. I hope so. Anyway, I like you guys, the ones that keep showing up. I have like 10 new subscribers this week. Thank you for being here. Anyway, so the Fear Footage series. I do not own Fear Footage 3 AM, the third film in the franchise, or the trilogy, or as I said, there's a hint from Ricky Umberger, who directed and wrote these movies, who created this series. He put in the comments section of my review for part 1 that he might be making a new one for next year, 2023. There might be a brand new one. I don't know if it's going to be a Fear Footage movie, or a spin-off, or something new from him. I'm not really sure. He posted it from his Fear Footage channel, which I thought was pretty fucking sick. Anyway, I'm really excited about that, because I like these movies a lot. Especially even this one that I watched tonight, Fear Footage 3 AM. I just uploaded the review for that. I was much more impressed this time with that, which kind of shook up my ranking, because originally I could have told you a year ago what I thought my ranking would be after I saw Fear Footage 3 for the only time I've seen it before today. And again, I've just kind of put off about buying it for my Blu-ray collection or DVD collection, whatever my physical media collection. So all I own right now is Fear Footage 1, which is really cool. It comes in an evidence bag. I like how all of these seem to come in their own unique way. They have like a poster in here and stuff. That's pretty sick. Ricky Umberger really provided for people who are fans of this franchise. I recommend buying these for your collection, dude. Anyway, Fear Footage 2 comes in a black bag, warning you that the footage in here is cursed, and you're cursed if you watch it, which added this weird, ominous thing to it. I'm superstitious by biblical standards, you know what I mean? Like, I believe in curses and stuff, so that was kind of creepy, even though I don't think it's real because it's a fun movie series, but it scared me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. So, Fear Footage series, there's 3 movies, as I said, and I'm going to start from worst and go up to best, just like I typically do with all my ranking videos. Starting out at number 3, the bottom of the list for me, again, this one jumps around a lot now. After seeing this, I took about 30 minutes or so after the previous video I recorded for my review for part 3, as a matter of fact, to really figure out what do I like out of 2 particular movies who struggle the most for my bottom 2 out of the 3 in this franchise. It's kind of hard for me to figure out, but I finally kind of decided and landed on what I preferred over something else, and my bottom pick, surprisingly enough, is going to be part 1, the original movie. Mainly because I like straight-up narratives more, I like straight-up found footage movies more than I like anthology movies. Now, I love TV anthologies like Tales from the Crypt and Tales from the Dark Side, X-Files. I like that kind of thing a lot. I like the episodic nature of it, and this film is an anthology movie that introduces us to a really great idea with 2 and then 3. I like those sequels more than I like this original movie, but I still like this. And when I did my review the other day, I think I made it very clear. I really enjoy this a lot. I think it's a very well-made little movie. For no-budget filmmaking, I think it's very good for what it is. I enjoy it. It's got some cheap jump scares and some cheap sound design scares, but some of it's really earned. Some of it's really earned scares, and I can't believe more people don't talk about this, especially people like myself who are big found footage fans. I think it's very solid for what it was to be, almost at the time, as a 2018 release, a one-and-done thing. It very much impressed me. Very much, and I very much respect it, and I respect Mr. Ricky Umberger for putting this series together. If it's the only thing he ever makes, it's extremely well done to be what it is. Now, his directing is perfected in the other films, I will say that. But for right now, the bottom of the barrel for me, as good as I think it is part 1. Moving along to my number 2 pick on the ranking of the Fear Street movies, the Fear Footage franchise. I cannot talk, there's too many F's in my sentence, and my mouth is messed up. I burnt it today when I ate at Olive Garden. That's a shame, isn't it? Anyway, moving along to my number 2 pick. What is this one going to be? Well, as you can probably tell, it is Fear Footage 3 AM, which is the third film, as I said. Watching it tonight, I realized I kind of, even though I used to think that I only really enjoyed the first 2 movies, The first time I saw this one, it kind of let me down a little bit. All of us expected it to be the end of the series. It was advertised that way. Ricky was in the comments of many YouTubers' videos saying that. And I'm glad that there's a hint we might be getting more. Watching this time and knowing what I was getting myself into with this particular movie, and it's kind of still underwhelming, it's kind of still disappointing, I still really had a good time. It's got some atmosphere. There's a couple of slow areas in the film, mainly one that's about 20 minutes long out of an hour and 10 minutes long. All of these movies are short, by the way. You can watch them in easily less than 4 hours, closer to like 3.5 hours. They fly by. They have great pacing for the most part. They have their flaws and their issues, all 3 of them, but they're well made to be what they are, and they're effective, whether it be the shooting locations, whether it be the ideas for the concepts, mainly with Fear Footage 2. Curse of the Tapes is the subtitle of that movie, just in case you didn't know. The setup for this, I think I like more than Part 1. Part 1 being a straight-up anthology film. Fear Footage 2 had more of like, these actors don't know how they were in that original movie. And they all start kind of getting together, they're calling each other, emailing each other, figuring out like, hey, we didn't film this, what happened here? Who are these people? Why are they us? Fear Footage 3 takes it on the idea of both the first and second films are actual movies and the third film's reality. So it's like every time we watch one, it's a real thing in these movies. In the next sequel, you know, the previous ones have happened apparently in their own individual franchise. It's kind of weird, and I really like that idea. I didn't really click with that idea until I saw it this time around and really picked up on what was going on there. I could see people saying this is more of the bottom of the barrel, but I liked it more this time. Again, I went into it knowing what it was, and it, to me, holds up better on a rewatch than the first one did. The first one was solid. I still like it. I think it's probably the most flawed out of the entire 3 series, trilogy, whatever. But this one, to me, did better this time around. I really enjoyed it more than I did the first time, and the only time I've seen this before tonight. It was better. It was better, and I hope that, again, with the kind of finale and everything we got here, that wasn't bad at all. There were some really good scares in here, some really good, just creepy moments, especially the one with the shack out in the yard. The moments like that that really got to me make me really hope that Ricky Umberger either makes something new or makes another found footage, fear footage, whatever movie. I think he could do really well at it. I think his little group of friends work really well together. They have things organized and they do some really cool stuff with these movies. Anyway, after saying all of that, let's move on to the number 1 obvious pick of the franchise for me personally, and I think for most people that I talk to, whether it be Sinister Cinema Reviews or whoever that I talk to in the community of horror fans. Fear Footage 2, of course, I have it in this box bag here that Ricky sent me when I bought this movie a couple of years back. Here's the actual case itself. Could have sworn it was red. I don't know. I had a weird moment here where I could have sworn this was red. It's not red. It's blue. Because it's a Blu-ray. Anyway, the Fear Footage 2, Curse of the Tapes, or tape, excuse me, no S, no plural. This is a very cool idea for a sequel. Again, the idea of these people saying, I don't know how I'm in this old original movie, what the hell? And then they try to go through this whole mystery. They're staying out in a cabin and whatever, he and one of the guys from the first movie. It's really eerie. And the atmosphere is wonderful. Some of the stuff happening within the cabin, the haunting stuff, the other guy, James or whatever, sleepwalking around the cabin and stuff. Stuff's creepy, dude. It's got a wonderful development on story, on mystery, on the tension between the 2 guys that are staying in this cabin who don't really know each other that well. There are so many eerie things about it that really clicked to me. And this time when I watched it, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday this past week. I think it was Monday. When I watched that on my anniversary or the day before my anniversary, it really creeped me out and it really got under my skin. Yes, there's some cheap jump scares, but again, there are also mostly ones that are earned. They're good tension built up to something that pops up in your face and screams in your ears. And I like that. That comes from this kind of fandom of James Wan type of filmmakers, and if you earn it, I'm cool with it. As long as it creeped me out before I got to the jump scare that made me jump out of my skin, I'm cool with that. If you're cool with that too, this franchise, mainly after the first movie, is really good about that. And I think it'll really get under your skin and really bother you. But for the most part, Fear Footage 2, Curse of the Tape, is mostly fantastic. All 3 of these movies have flaws, like I said. This is really solid. This is a really solid one that I definitely recommend if you haven't seen it before. I recommend the whole series. You need to see all 3 together in a row because there are things that tie over from the last movie all the way back to the original. If you're not thinking, if you're not paying attention, if you're not a big big fan of the franchise, you're going to miss things. Especially in that third movie, who kind of referenced back to those first two. But there's some really good stuff in here. I really like it. Going from 2018 to 2021, like a 5-year span doing these kinds of films, again, for practically no budget, and being able to make them effective and fun to watch. And again, if you're sitting in the pitch black dark watching this like you should, not in the daylight, not with your blinds closed where you can see the sunlight still kind of coming through, you need to watch this late at night in the dark to really get the effect of it, in my personal opinion. That's how I watched all of these the first time I saw them, each of them. And then watching them this way, the exact same way this time around, it really got to me. It really stuck with me and it really lingered with me. Especially with my oddball story about my anniversary and my wedding day and part 3. If you don't know that story, go check out the review. It's toward the end. Again, it's a long review, like 18 minutes, but it's spoiler-free in case you want to check out any of my reviews for these movies or anything else. If it doesn't say spoiler review in the title, it's not a spoiler review, even if it's like 25 minutes long. Anyway, I really like this franchise. I hope we get more. I'm cool if we don't, but it's kind of underwhelming with how it ended. I will say that, but I do recommend them. I think if you love found footage movies, these are really solid. Maybe if you're not a found footage fan, these might not be able to convert you to that, but man, if you're a fan, you're missing out if you haven't seen these yet. I really do think that. They have some really unique ideas, some very clever directing, some very clever ideas, especially in part 2, that really work. They really work better, and to me are improvements on things like Grave Encounters 2, which was also kind of, you know, a little meandering for me when I saw it for the first time. I haven't seen that film since, but I do own it. I need to watch that again sometime. I don't know, maybe during October. We'll find out. Anyway, the Fear Footage 1, 2, and 3. Have you seen these movies? Do you love them? Do you hate them? What are your thoughts? Put them down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Please, check them out. They're good. You can rent them all 3 on Amazon Prime, like $5 a piece. You can rent them for like an hour and 10 minutes. It might seem like a little much for most people, but for the kind of intrigue that I have in found footage and the kind of obsession I have with found footage for that matter, this was good for me. I didn't care. $15 for these like 3.5-hour in total movies was a good deal, and I wish these could get like a theatrical release of some sort, mainly part 2, to really get some kind of audience aside from just weirdo YouTubers like myself who love horror and love found footage stuff. It deserves a lot more, is what I'm trying to say, in the weirdest, oddball, not-so-sweet way. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put your ranking down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear that as well for people who have seen these movies. Were anybody else, or any of you, disappointed the way I was with part 3 to an extent? Even though I do think it's still good, it still has some really good stuff in it, but were you disappointed with that being the finale? I'd love to hear that down below. And again, every kind of little bit of criticism you can give in the comments for Ricky Umberger, who directed and wrote these, like I said, that might be a good thing for him to hear. Any kind of praise especially might be something really good for him to hear too. I think it's a good idea to really commend him on some of the stuff he accomplished here that you don't see in low-budget filmmaking, found footage or otherwise. And I mean that. Anyway, what are your thoughts, guys? Put them down below. Thank you for watching all. God bless you, and goodbye.